Northwest has been plunged into uncertainty, casting doubt on its future role as a hub for innovation and employment. Employees who once celebrated the company's rapid growth are now faced with the viability of a trade policy that prioritizes short-term political gains over long-term economic partnerships. Critics of the tariffs claim that they have alienated key allies and given ground to rival economic blocs eager to fill the void left by the withdrawal of American influence. From an international standpoint, the arrival of Amazon's leadership and significant operations is a major coup for the host country. The move communicates to other multinational corporations that there are viable alternatives to operating in the United States. Governments seeking to attract foreign direct investment will step up efforts to create enticing incentive packages, streamline regulatory processes, and highlight their own stable trade relationships. In effect, Amazon's relocation may usher in a new era of competition among nations vying to host global corporations' headquarters, with each offering its own set of financial incentives, talent pools, and infrastructure benefits. As the practicalities of relocation begin, Amazon's logistical network faces one of its most severe tests yet. The company's well-known fulfillment and distribution system, which is praised for its speed and efficiency, must be redesigned to align with new import-export channels. Warehouses will be repurposed, shipping lanes rearranged, and partnerships renegotiated. For employees stationed in overseas facilities, the announcement has sparked excitement and palpable anticipation. New hires queue for training programs, local vendors prepare to expand capacity, and regional governments roll out the red carpet to welcome the influx. However, the transition must be handled with surgical precision to avoid disruptions that could harm the brand's reputation for dependability. Internally, the company culture is being managed with care. Amazon takes pride in a set of leadership principles that have helped it grow from a startup to a trillion-dollar company. Maintaining employee morale during such a seismic shift is no easy task, but town halls, Q&A sessions, and personalized outreach can help ensure that everyone feels informed and valued. At the same time, teams are encouraged to seize the opportunity for growth and innovation that a new environment provides. Cross-cultural training programs are being implemented to foster mutual understanding among international employees, while remote work policies are being developed to accommodate employees who prefer to remain in the United States. The rest of the business world is paying close attention as Amazon follows through on its plan for a seamless transition. For suppliers of everything from electronics to apparel, realigning order flows presents both challenges and opportunities. Some will benefit from streamlined access to emerging markets, while others will face the logistical challenges of redirecting shipments. Consulting firms and trade experts are inundated with requests to assist businesses in adapting to the changing landscape, providing guidance on tariff mitigation strategies, alternative sourcing, and compliance frameworks. The financial markets have reacted similarly to the news. Amazon's stock price, which initially fluctuated as investors digested the implications of the move, stabilized as more information about the company's plans for a phased relocation became available. Analysts have adjusted their models to account for potential tax benefits, operational efficiencies, and long-term growth prospects in the new host country. While some critics warn of reputational damage and the risk of alienating U.S. consumers, leading market observers agree that Amazon's decisive action strengthens resilience and adaptability. The human aspect of this story cannot be overstated. Thousands of employees, many of whom have spent years advancing their careers in the United States, are now faced with life-altering choices. Some will choose to relocate with the company, enticed by generous relocation packages and the prospect of a new beginning. Others will choose to remain and pursue new opportunities closer to home. Support programs have been implemented to help with visa applications, housing searches, and cultural adjustment. Career counseling services are available to those who choose to stay behind, ensuring that their skills remain in demand in the local job market. As word of the relocation spreads through international media, it sparks a broader discussion about the changing nature of corporate citizenship. In an era when national borders can no longer contain global corporations' ambitions, leaders are reconsidering the traditional contract between businesses and the societies in which they operate. Amazon's move calls into question the notion that a single headquarters is inextricably linked to corporate success. It prompts a rethinking of how businesses assess their responsibilities to stakeholders, ranging from employees and customers to governments and communities in which they operate. The timing of the announcement, following a presidential election that surprised many observers, emphasizes the interplay between politics and commerce. It demonstrates how quickly corporate strategies can be disrupted by changes in the political climate. Boardrooms around the world are taking note, reassessing risk matrices and contingency plans to ensure they are ready for unexpected regulatory shifts. For governments, the lesson is obvious. Cultivating a favorable business environment necessitates consistency and foresight, or they risk alienating key contributors to economic growth. Amazon's expansion into a new jurisdiction is likely to pave the way for new innovations. Without some of the constraints imposed by the tariff regime, the company can invest in advanced logistics technologies, R&D initiatives, and partnerships that were previously hampered by cost considerations. The new headquarters is expected to become a global center of excellence, recruiting talent from across continents and encouraging cross-pollination among diverse teams. Even as Amazon begins this new chapter, the story remains unfinished. The relocation will take months if not years, as the company balances its commitments to current customers and employees with the need to chart a sustainable path forward. Governments in Washington will have to deal with the political fallout of what many will interpret as a rebuke of domestic policy. Trade alliances may be reshaped as countries adapt to the changing landscape of American corporate presence, and the global economy will continue to adapt, seeking new equilibrium following one of the decade's most consequential corporate decisions. From the perspective of global supply chains, Amazon's decision to move away from the United States represents a seismic shift. Companies that previously relied on distribution centers in the United States must rethink their logistics strategies. The transition to new fulfillment hubs in Europe, Asia, or other rapidly developing markets is more than just redirecting shipping lanes. It necessitates a complete overhaul of inventory management, demand forecasting, and last-mile delivery networks. Following the announcement, software engineers and operations researchers are working to improve the algorithms that underpin Amazon's well-known inventory optimization systems, taking into account longer lead times and diverse regulatory environments. Traditional models based on the predictability of U.S. domestic freight must now account for a mosaic of border inspections, customs procedures, and fluctuating import duties imposed by various national authorities. Simultaneously, Amazon's vendor ecosystem is venturing into unknown territory. Thousands of small and medium-sized businesses, which used to benefit from the ease of shipping products into a single tariff-protected market, now face layered cost structures. Those who manufacture goods in Southeast Asia may find it more cost-effective to route products through the company's new logistical nerve center rather than through U.S. ports. This shift prompts a rethinking of manufacturing footprints. Some vendors may prefer to relocate production closer to Amazon's new operations, while others look into nearshoring options in neighboring regions to reduce transit times. Supply chain finance strategies will also need to evolve, as letters of credit and trade financing instruments are redesigned to accommodate different banking systems and exchange rate hedging requirements. On the digital front, Amazon's data infrastructure is about to undergo transformation. The company's cloud computing arm, which had massive data centers in the United States, is now considering expanding into new markets. Establishing secure, high-capacity data hubs near emerging customer bases is critical not only for maintaining performance standards, but also for complying with data sovereignty laws, which differ dramatically across jurisdictions. Data scientists and security architects work together to ensure that customer information, such as purchase histories and payment credentials, is protected under a network of international privacy regulations. The transition necessitates strong encryption protocols, localized backup strategies, and the negotiation of cross-border data transfer agreements that are compliant with corporate policy and host country legislation. Retail partners and brick-and-mortar affiliates are also at an inflection point. For years, companies in industries such as groceries, apparel, and consumer electronics have used Amazon's US-centric distribution network to provide fast delivery services. Collaboration programs such as Ship from Store and Amazon Go must now adapt to a more diverse geospatial framework. Retailers with national footprints in the countries hosting Amazon's new headquarters can expect deeper integration with the platform, whereas those focused primarily on the US market must seek alternative partnerships or develop in-house logistics capabilities. This dynamic may encourage the rise of regional e-commerce champions as local players step forward to fill gaps in the American ecosystem. The financial architecture that underpins Amazon's global operations will also undergo significant revision. Corporate treasurers must reconsider foreign exchange risk management as revenues and expenses fluctuate between currencies. Profits earned abroad must be repatriated in accordance with each jurisdiction's tax codes, necessitating sophisticated structuring to maximize liquidity while avoiding prohibitive tax liabilities. Financial analysts examine scenarios to weigh the costs of offshore financing against the potential benefits, keeping track of interest rate differentials and sovereign credit ratings. Furthermore, credit facilities and debt instruments that were previously denominated solely in US dollars will be supplemented by euro-, pound-, yen-, or renminbi-denominated bonds, indicating a rebalanced capital strategy appropriate for a truly multinational enterprise. In addition to logistical and financial complexities, the relocation presents profound cultural and social challenges that cannot be ignored. Amazon's workforce, renowned for its diversity, will be tested by the demands of adapting to new environments, languages, and workplace customs. For many employees, moving abroad represents an opportunity to broaden their horizons and build international careers, but it also requires grappling with unfamiliar legal systems, immigration processes, and day-to-day living adjustments. Human resources teams have launched comprehensive onboarding programs that include not only technical training but also cultural sensitivity workshops designed to ease the transition. These programs emphasize understanding local customs, workplace norms, and communication styles, as well as navigating local bureaucracies, such as securing residency permits and enrolling family members in schooling systems. Moreover, the decision to relocate brings into focus questions of identity and belonging among Amazon staff. What does it mean to be an Amazonian when the physical headquarters is no longer anchored in the United States, where the company was founded? Company leadership recognizes that sustaining a shared corporate culture requires intentional efforts to build connections across geographies. Virtual collaboration tools, including advanced video conferencing, immersive virtual reality meeting spaces, and internal social networks, are being deployed to maintain cohesion among teams dispersed across multiple continents. These platforms foster informal interactions and creative brainstorming sessions that help preserve the entrepreneurial spirit and innovative mindset that defined Amazon's rise. While Amazon's corporate culture emphasizes high standards and a data-driven approach, the relocation could prompt shifts in leadership styles to better align with new regional norms. Managers who excel in the U.S. context may need additional training to navigate the nuances of leadership in countries where consensus building or indirect communication is more valued. This adaptation could potentially broaden the company's leadership toolkit, making it more flexible and inclusive. Externally, Amazon's new headquarters will impact the urban fabric of the host city or region. Economic development officials anticipate that the influx of high-paying jobs and corporate investment will spur demand for housing, transportation, and amenities. The creation of new office campuses, research centers, and innovation hubs is expected to catalyze ancillary business growth in sectors such as hospitality, retail, and professional services. However, the sudden population growth and increased demand for real estate may also present challenges such as rising housing costs, gentrification concerns, and infrastructure strain. City planners and community organizations are actively engaging with Amazon to develop strategies that ensure equitable growth and prevent displacement of existing residents. Initiatives to build affordable housing, improve public transit, and enhance green spaces are being prioritized to foster inclusive development. The relocation will also have environmental consequences. Amazon has pledged ambitious sustainability goals, including net zero carbon emissions by 2040. Transitioning major operations to a new geographic location requires integrating these sustainability targets into new facilities, supply chains, and logistics networks. Energy efficiency standards, waste reduction practices, and renewable energy sourcing will all be critical components of the build-out. In some host countries, the availability of clean energy and strong environmental regulations could support Amazon's green ambitions. Local governments may offer incentives for renewable energy projects, electric vehicle fleets, and eco-friendly building certifications, accelerating Amazon's progress toward sustainability. On the other hand, challenges such as deforestation, water scarcity, or pollution in certain regions may complicate efforts to maintain environmental stewardship. The impact on the U.S. economy is a subject of considerable debate among economists and policymakers. While the loss of Amazon's headquarters jobs represents a significant blow to certain metropolitan areas, the long-term effects are complex. The shift may stimulate innovation and growth in other sectors or regions within the U.S., as companies seek to fill the void left by Amazon. Some analysts argue that the departure could encourage American businesses to strengthen their domestic supply chains, reduce dependence on multinational corporations, and invest in homegrown startups. Meanwhile, universities and research institutions in affected areas may seek new partnerships with emerging technology firms to maintain their competitive edge. In contrast, detractors worry about a potential brain drain, where talented workers relocate abroad to follow Amazon, resulting in a loss of intellectual capital. The relocation might also prompt other companies to consider similar moves if they perceive the regulatory or tax environment in the US as less favorable. This scenario could lead to a broader erosion of the country's global economic influence. At the geopolitical level, Amazon's move adds a new layer to ongoing global power shifts. The United States has long been the center of innovation, entrepreneurship, and capital formation, but its relative dominance is being challenged by rising economic hubs in Europe, Asia, and beyond. Amazon's relocation to a non-US jurisdiction symbolizes this realignment and highlights the importance of maintaining competitive policy environments. The decision is likely to influence other multinational corporations' strategic calculations, potentially accelerating trends toward regional diversification of operations. Companies may increasingly adopt multi-headquarter models, splitting functions between locations to mitigate risk and maximize access to talent and markets. This phenomenon could foster closer regional economic integration, even as it complicates global coordination. The host country benefits from this trend through job creation, technology transfer, and enhanced international prestige. Amazon's presence is expected to attract related industries and startups, creating clusters of innovation and entrepreneurship. Academic institutions may receive increased funding and opportunities to collaborate on research and development projects, further cementing the region's status as a global innovation hub. Nevertheless, the host country must navigate the complexities of regulating a global corporate giant. Ensuring that Amazon complies with local labor laws, taxation policies, and data privacy regulations will be critical to maintaining a fair and balanced relationship. Regulatory agencies may face challenges in monitoring and enforcing compliance given Amazon's size and influence. On a human scale, communities surrounding Amazon's new campuses will experience demographic changes. The arrival of a multinational workforce often brings multiculturalism, language diversity, and new social dynamics. Local schools, healthcare facilities, and civic services may see increased demand, prompting investments to expand capacity and enhance quality. Social integration efforts, including language training programs, community engagement initiatives, and support networks, can facilitate harmonious coexistence. Partnerships between Amazon and local nonprofits or cultural organizations can also promote inclusivity and mutual understanding. From an innovation perspective, Amazon's new headquarters may accelerate development in cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, cloud computing, and logistics automation. The company's extensive R&D budget and talent pool position it to pioneer breakthroughs that could transform multiple industries. Collaborations with local universities and research centers may lead to the creation of specialized innovation labs or incubators, fostering a vibrant ecosystem where startups and established companies co-develop new products and services. The convergence of academic excellence, industry experience, and venture capital availability forms a fertile ground for sustained technological progress. Amazon's commitment to workforce development includes initiatives aimed at upskilling employees and supporting STEM education in the community. Training programs, apprenticeships, and scholarship opportunities help build a pipeline of talent that meets the company's evolving needs. These efforts can have a lasting impact on the region's competitiveness and economic resilience. Furthermore, Amazon's relocation touches on the broader theme of globalization and its discontents. The company's shift away from the US reflects tensions between national sovereignty, global corporate governance, and the fluidity of capital and labor. As governments grapple with how to regulate transnational entities, questions arise about accountability, equitable wealth distribution, and the role of corporations in society. The move invites reflection on how multinational companies balance profit motives with social responsibilities. Amazon's decision, while strategic and financially motivated, also carries symbolic weight. It challenges traditional notions of corporate patriotism and raises debates about the future shape of global capitalism. At the same time, it highlights the adaptability and agility of modern enterprises in an interconnected world. Amazon's ability to swiftly pivot operations across borders showcases the technological and managerial prowess necessary to thrive in a dynamic economic landscape. The relocation will be a case study for business schools, policy think tanks, and economic historians for decades to come. Its lessons on managing complexity, risk, and cultural diversity provide valuable insights for leaders facing a rapidly evolving global environment. In conclusion, Amazon's relocation is not just a business decision. It is a multifaceted event with deep economic, social, political, and technological ramifications. It marks a turning point in how multinational corporations navigate geopolitical shifts, regulatory landscapes, and workforce dynamics. While challenges abound, the move also opens new horizons for innovation, collaboration, and growth on a global scale.